Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Today is February 8th, 2014. I'm Holly Seiler, leading our news tonight. A State Department of Transportation worker died from a fall Friday at the DOT Chandler camp on the Dalton Highway, 300 miles north of Fairbanks. State troopers say 64-year-old William Evans died after falling from a grader onto concrete at the camp. Workers reported that Evans had fallen from a piece of heavy equipment and they were performing CPR on him. A trooper arrived at the scene and assisted with life-saving efforts. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration is investigating the incident. Due to concerns from the trail, the Iditarod could be coming back to Fairbanks. In an email sent out Friday by race officials, the race could start in Fairbanks due to poor trail conditions on the Alaska Range. As of right now, the start of the race is scheduled for March 1st in Anchorage. If moved to Fairbanks, the ceremonial start will still be held in Anchorage, but a restart would be moved to March 3rd in Fairbanks. A decision will be made on February 17th. A sudden rate hike in postal prices by the United States Postal Service increased shipping rates to rural communities in Alaska. Some costs went up roughly 50%, especially those sending heavy parcel posts. Senator Mark Begich demanded a meeting with the USPS Postmaster General to fight for Alaskans who would be greater affected by the hike than those in suburban areas. News Center 11's Stephanie Woodard has more now in this report.
Late last month, the United States Postal Service increased shipping rates nationwide, impacting many of Alaska's remote villages. The increase of 6.75% of bypass mail and roughly 50% for heavy parcels left much room for concern for Alaskan lawmakers.
January 26th, the rates went up. For packages over 50 pounds, it went up at least 50% in rate pricing. Pretty significant when you think about what gets shipped out to rural Alaska.
Senator Mark Begich spoke to the USPS Postmaster General Thursday, introducing a bill that would protect the remote areas affected by the increase in Alaska. He also confronted the multitude of Postal Service problems that is faced in the state.
Even though the bill has only passed the committee, he's committed in the next few days to start rolling these rates back to the original rates they were and go through the processes we've laid out, which will be beneficial long-term for Alaska.
One area that the senator stressed in his bill was bypass mail. He says bypass mail is something that rural communities in Alaska rely heavily upon for shipment of their goods.
Fully protected bypass mail as it is today will continue, at least in the Senate version of the bill. And keep in mind, the Post Office Reform Bill passed by bipartisan support, and our bypass mail was 100% protected, and no amendments to diminish it in any way by any other member of the committee.
After the meetings with the Postmaster General, Begich feels that he has taken a step in the right direction. He says he feels he's protected USPS service to Alaskans, even going a step further, saying he wants to protect stations that were at risk for closure.
We're able to push it back pretty hard, and we have been successful in protecting rural post offices in Alaska and making sure that Douglas and Auk Bay, two that were not necessarily in the list originally, are in the list of protection.
Stephanie Woodard, News Center 11.
An Anchorage judge is preventing the state of Alaska from instituting new rules defining a medically necessary abortion until a trial is held. Judge John Suddick on Friday extended until at least late April a restraining order barring enforcement of the new regulations, which seek to further define under what circumstances the state will pay for abortions under Medicaid. Planned Parenthood of the Great Northwest filed a lawsuit last month seeking to have the new rules struck down as unconstitutional.
This past year, we went through a revision process to get a little more detail into it. We have not changed the requirement that it be a medically necessary abortion. We've just asked for more information on why it's medically necessary. The process is completely conducted by the physician performing the abortion. It's a reporting of what they did and why they did it.
When we come back, Fairbanks residents anticipate the upcoming Arctic Winter Games, and we take a look at an alternative lunch option for you in the Fairbanks area. We'll have those stories and much more when the weekend's only local televised newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Ryan Middle School was getting their game on today as they hosted an event in anticipation of the 2014 Arctic Winter Games. Get Your Game On was the theme for the gathering today that lasted from 1 to 4 p.m. and included welcome sign making, education about the history of the event, and demonstrations of the unique athletic games. The games will begin March 15th and run through the 22nd. Volunteers with the Arctic Winter Games expect the event to bring thousands of people from around the world to Fairbanks.
This is a pretty big deal. There are, 2,000 athletes coming from all over the world here, and this doesn't happen very often. And so our job as school programs was to educate, excite, and involve the students in the Arctic Winter Games. And so, in fact, one of the tables that we have is making signs to welcome people to Fairbanks. So we want people to just know what all sports are involved, what the contingents are that'll be here, and then be excited to be able to go to the Arctic Winter Games during spring break.
Located in Hutchinson High School, the Borealis Bistro has many flavors to offer local residents for a satisfying lunch. The student-run restaurant is unique because it offers a different selection of foods each week. You may see recipes familiar American food, European-style cuisine, or something more exotic. It also gives aspiring chefs the genuine experience of managing a restaurant. It's operated by UAF's culinary program, and although it's open 1 day per week, the students work hard to continue serving great dishes.
It's a great feeling that when people come in and we have people fill out a little survey every day and they talk about the specific dishes that people made, and everybody's really happy. And it's also very realistic. It's just like a regular restaurant. So the students really get the pressure, they get the demands of what customers' expectations are.
We're going to have different things than what you see in Fairbanks. Like today we have Indian food, which we don't right now have an Indian restaurant per se in Fairbanks, so that's kind of fun.
The Borealis Bistro is open Thursdays from 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Their lunch costs $12. For more information or to make a reservation, call 455-2902. It's time once again for another in our series on the agencies within the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Tonight, the News Center's Mike Schultz spotlights the Resource Center for Parents and Children.
The Resource Center for Parents and Children, or RCPC, has been in the Fairbanks community since 1973. The mission of RCPC is the prevention of child abuse and neglect through education, prevention, and support services. Scooter Welch is the executive director for RCPC, and he says his agency would have very little impact without assistance from the United Way of the Tanana Valley.
Well, the agency, in order to provide the services that we have, we depend upon this community and their support. And one of the easiest ways is for United Way to make those donations through United Way that come back to agencies like RCPC, and it's a very important part. It supports programs, it supports services, and helps us with staff. And we couldn't do the job we do without that.
I asked Scooter what made him most proud of the accomplishments of RCPC.
You know, every day I try to remind staff that we're in a position to make a difference in people's lives in so many different ways. And to see the kind of work that we do, which is sometimes very difficult work, to be able to bring some service to a family that makes a big difference, to bring a smile about on a child's face, that's the thing that keeps us here every day.
During his time with RCPC, what does Scooter feel is his most rewarding and fulfilling moment?
I think, again, seeing what the staff, they are here because they want to provide a service. They could go out and do other work. And when I see the smiling faces that leave the agency and know the kind of work that they do, that's what keeps us all coming back here. Well, again, we just want to thank the community for so many years of support, all the different organizations and companies and individuals, and also United Way for what they do for this entire Tanana Valley.
The United Way fundraising campaign is still running until the end of March, so there's still time for you to donate to your favorite agency. Mike Schultz, News Center 11.
Sports is up next, and we have a recap of last night's prep hockey playoff action, a Yukon Quest update, and a look into an Alaskan Olympic medal hopeful. Stay right here with News Center 11 for sports after the break.
Welcome back, Alaska. Michael Ives here with your Saturday sports, and while the Sochi Olympic Games are on and drawing the world's attention, we have some great sporting events happening right here in the interior. So we'll get to the Olympics here in a little bit, but let's start with ice action right here in Fairbanks. It's tournament time for prep hockey across the state, and the Interior will be sending some teams to Wasilla for the 2014 First National Cup. The Monroe Rams beat Glen Allen yesterday to punch their ticket as Great Land Conference representatives. Then it was the Mid-Alaska Conference's time to throw down. It was Lathrop and North Pole taking the ice first, and it would be a goalie display early. Patriot keeper Alan Heineken and Malamute goalie Ryan Ebenall trade stops before Lathrop starts finding the twine. Defenseman Colton Meyer puts a turnover past Heineken for a shorthanded tally. Arthur Edgren gets a redirect in front of the net for another Lathrop goal, and the Malamutes get a 2-0 win to advance. Then the number 1 seeded Wolfpack would face the Juneau Crimson Bears for a spot in that MAC title game. Mike Olson gets the Pack on the board in the first period, and though Juneau would not make it easy on West Valley, the Wolfpack grinds out a 3-1 win as Stoshi Skorolski and Ethan Daniels score to help push West Valley into a MAC final Dog Bowl matchup. We will have results and highlights on tomorrow's special newscast. Hockey Week in Fairbanks concludes this weekend at the Big Dipper as the Ice Dogs host the rival Wenatchee Wild. This 3-game series has the Ice Dogs up 2-0 after wins Thursday and Friday night, with a chance to sweep tonight at the Big Dipper. It was all Ice Dogs last night as they blast the Wild 6-3 thanks to 2 goals from Brett Gervais and Ethan Somoza. It's Somoza's first career NAHL 2-goal game. Kyle Lee and Doogie Lagrone would also score for the Ice Dogs, and they march into Saturday night's contest with back-to-back wins over Wenatchee. Kevin Aldridge gets another win in net as he stops 29 of the 32 shots that he faced. Now to Birch Hill, where the Prep Cross Country Championships are being held. It was nice racing weather at Birch, and the West Valley Wolfpack takes a Day 1 lead in both girls and boys combined scores, with the Lathrop Malamutes in second place. The Malamutes, however, got a big win in the boys' 10K Classic as senior Sam King out-sprinted West Valley's Ben Koenig to the finish line. The Wolfpack would get an overall win in the girls' 7.5K as freshman Jenna DeFalco paced the pack for an individual win. The teams are back on the hills of Birch for today's final relays. Now, Alaska Nanook cross-country skiing is in Michigan, competing in the Central Collegiate Ski Association Championships. Nanook junior skier Logan Hahnemann was the big winner today as he claimed first place overall in the men's 10K Classic race, and he helped the Nanook men climb to second in the point standing overall. They're only 4 points behind the leader, Northern Michigan. The men's races will conclude on Sunday. Nanook women's skiing sits in 4th place after 2 days of racing, and they've been missing their top skier, freshman Nicole Baith, who is in Italy competing in the World Junior Championships. The women's races also end on Sunday. Now, with the 2014 Sochi Olympics officially underway after yesterday's opening ceremonies, we take a look at an American medal favorite who calls Alaska home. Keegan Randall will try to do something a member of Team USA has never done: win a women's cross-country skiing medal. And Anchorage's Randall isn't looking to just medal, but to stand atop the podium holding gold. Randall comes into these Sochi Olympics as the world's best sprint skier after winning back-to-back world championships. This is Randall's 4th Olympic appearance, but her first as a top medal favorite. With the cross-country events getting underway and Randall's important sprint races just days away, she tells us about her excitement for these Sochi Games.
They've made some slight refinements to the trail, and I think I was excited to see the finish line bump up a little bit. So the trails are looking great. I feel fitness is feeling really good, so it's been great to get out and preview the trails, and everything looks really good. The Olympics, you're definitely in a different playing field here. Been thinking about coming to Sochi here for a long time. I mean, every time I think about, kind of go over the course in my head, the butterflies start to twitter a little bit. But it's great to finally be here. I mean, I really feel like the preparation has gone exactly as I'd hoped, and now it's just a matter of going out and putting it down.
Well, the 2014 Yukon Quest race leaders are down to about the last 200 miles of the 1,000-mile Quest journey. Also, it's back and forth at the top today as defending champion Alan Moore had moved into the lead earlier, only to be repassed by Brent Sass through the CarMax checkpoint. Here's your Quest standings as of Saturday. Sass and Moore have distanced themselves from the third-place racer Hugh Neff after both stopped briefly at Pelly Crossing. Neff stopped and dropped dogs, and he will now be pushing with a team of only 9 and a few hours behind the leader behind the leaders Moore and Sass. Cody Straith and Matt Hall are out of the Scroggy Creek dog drop and headed towards the Stepping Stone stop. We will give you another quest update tomorrow as Brent Sass and Alan Moore kick into the final 200 miles of the 2014 Yukon Quest. And that's all the time we have for sports today. Tune into our special Sunday newscast tomorrow for sports updates from tonight's action. And of course, for more KTVF sports, you can log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, or download our mobile app. Keep on keeping on, Alaska. Holly Seiler's up next with your full weather forecast. Enjoy the Olympics, everybody, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
So it's been kind of exciting watching the Olympics.
It has. It's been really nice. Sochi, of course, there was all the questions leading up to it, the terrorist threats. That was scary to hear, but
and
so
living
far,
conditions really scary.
That's still scary.
Right?
Still scary, but we're a couple days in and it's been going good so far.
Yeah, and they
watch.
the opening ceremonies seemed like they were pretty successful. And
yeah. Besides the snowflake that didn't turn into the circle, the Olympic ring. But that's okay.
That's
it's
okay.
artistic.
That's okay. Speaking of snowflakes, here is our almanac for February 8th. It shows a normal high of 7 degrees and a normal low of 14 below. The record high was set in 1986 at 39 degrees, and the record low, proving weather could always be worse, was set in 1979 at 50 degrees below zero. The sun rose this morning at 9:12 a.m. and will set tonight at exactly 5 p.m. It's going to give us 7 hours and 48 minutes of daylight, a 6-minute gain since yesterday. This is our weather around the state today. Barrow is cloudy with some light wind. Fort Yukon is all sun. It's also sunny in Nome and in Fairbanks. Healy is clear while Delta is mostly clear. Clouds are moving over Juneau today. Ketchikan is partly cloudy with some light snow showers. It's sunny in Bethel. Cloudy in Cold Bay. Some light snow is falling on Kodiak with up to 20-mile-per-hour wind. Homer is sunny today. Valdez is mostly cloudy and Anchorage is sunny today. Highs in the high teens. On to our friends in the lower 48. Seattle is cloudy with some snow showers, highs in the 30s for them. It's partly cloudy in Las Vegas with some light wind and highs in the high 50s. Denver is all sun today with highs in the mid 40s. Clouds are passing over Dallas with highs in the low 50s. Chicago is expected to see up to 1 inch of snow accumulation today with cloudy skies, highs in the mid-teens. It's partly cloudy in Miami with scattered thunderstorms and rain showers, a high in the mid-80s. And New York is looking at snow today with cloudy skies, a high in the high 20s. Back in Alaska, Fort Yukon is expected to be cloudy while Nome will see partly cloudy skies, and Barrow will be overcast with some light wind. Clear skies are projected for Fairbanks and Healy tomorrow. Delta Junction is expecting sunny skies. Juneau is calling for clouds mixed with some sun, while 3 to 5 inches of snow is expected in Ketchikan with some light wind. Cold Bay is also calling for wind up to 30 miles per hour for them. 20 miles per hour wind in Kodiak with snow showers, and Homer is expected to be mostly sunny. Sunny skies are projected for both Anchorage and Homer tomorrow, while Valdez is expecting partly cloudy skies. And it got kind of chilly last night. Clear skies for us this afternoon, and plug-in weather returning tonight with an overnight low around 20 below. And it'll warm up just a little. We'll see a high tomorrow of 5 below, which might be the perfect recipe for staying inside and watching some more Olympic coverage. And I'm afraid it isn't looking like it's going to warm up anytime soon, but it is February after all, so you all knew it was coming. We'll start out the week with a single-digit negative high and lows around 20 below, and we'll stay pretty consistent with that throughout the week. Mostly cloudy skies to partly cloudy skies until next Saturday. So, unfortunately, it's February. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and it's really not that cold.
It's not. It's really not.
Yeah, we got a little pampered there the last couple weeks and got used to the warmth.
We did.
So here comes 20 below again.
You're welcome.
We'll live.
That's going to wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're really glad you could join us.
Yeah, remember to join us here tomorrow night for a special Sunday edition of News Center Final, or go online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.